Head over to BoardGamePrices.com to see the best price on Kingdomino Duel and thousands of other games. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Recently, Kingdomino won the Spiel Des Jahres, which is the German Game of the Year, which essentially is the most coveted award in board gaming. Well now, we're going to be going back to building those kingdoms with dominoes, kind of, but we're going to be defending those with different coat of arms in a roll and write style of this game, and it's only for 2 players. We're looking at Kingdomino Duel. So let me show you how it's played, and I'll see you on the other side. Now the game comes with a huge score pad that has 100 sheets on here, so you'll be able to play 50 games without running out. It comes with 2 pencils, and it comes with these 4 big chunky dice. And each player is going to get one of these sheets. They're going to be filling it out throughout the game. The game is played over multiple rounds, and each round there'll be a start player. The start player will roll all 4 dice. They will get to choose one of these dice. Let's say they choose this one. Then the other player will get to choose any 2 of these ones. Let's say they choose this one and this one. And that means that the first player is left with whatever's left. So this player is going to have these 2 dice, the other player will have the other 2 dice. Now these 2 dice make up, think of it as a domino that has 2 sides. So you could put it up like this, you could put it like this, you could put it like this, any way you want, but you're going to draw these on your board. Now at the beginning of the game, there's a castle here. You can draw either of these adjacent to the castle, up, down, left, or right, because this is considered a wild. So let's say I decide to put this one next to the castle, and again, this one, since it's the other half of the domino, would either have to have gone here, here, or here, because they have to sort of be together. So I would have placed it, let's just say like this. Now this one has 2 crosses. This is important. You'd mark those crosses on that spot and those 2 little bubbles there. This is really going to help you score points in the end. These are essentially our multipliers. I'll go over what that means later. But you'll notice that this die does not have a cross. Anytime you take a die that does not have a cross, you'll mark a box for that there. So we look for that coat of arms, and we just mark the box here. Now there's a side for me, a side for the opponent, and you're going down this track. Now at any point in time, if you ever get to the end of one of these tracks, it actually crosses it out for the other player. They cannot get this, and it gives you a special ability that you can use once per game. I'll go over more of these later. Then the next player would be the start player. They'd roll all 4. Let's say they roll all these 4, and they take this. A question mark allows you to be any of these different coat of arms that you want. You could draw it on there. So let's say the first player takes this, but they left me this. Wow, that's great. So I would be able to draw this. So I'll take this one, and let's say I take this one, which leaves the other player with the last die. Now again, I have to place this so either one of these are adjacent to the castle, or at least one of these is next to something that matches it. And remember, they always have to be next to each other. So I was able to put them next to it. Actually, they both matched, and they were both next to each other. And this is, look at this, I have 2 of these next to each other. And what you're trying to do is create these kingdoms of adjacent types of the same type of coat of arms here. Now, how the scoring works is that at the end of the game, you're going to look at each of your adjacent, the kingdoms that has adjacent types, and you're going to look at the number of these times the amount of crosses. So if the game ended now, this little section here would get me 2, because there's 2 of these, times 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'd be worth 8 points. This one is 2 of them times 1, so it's going to be worth 2 points. So you can see how you're trying to basically build these like kingdoms adjacent and get as many crosses as you can. And again, once you finish a track, you actually get to use the ability. And when you do, you cross it out. And as soon as you get that ability, it crosses it out for the player. And these do different things. Like this one allows you to take your 2 dominoes and split them up so they don't have to be next to each other. This one allows you to place it so that it doesn't have to match something it's next to. This one allows you, when you're the first player, take 2 dice right away. This allows you to take a die and put it to any face. This one allows you to get just 3 points at the end of the game. Oh, and this one allows you to add a cross. Now the game will end as soon as either both players have filled out their sheet entirely, or neither player can place a die that round or finish it up. So, and then you essentially score. So let's look at this one first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these adjacent to each other. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. But I also have another one over here on its own. 1 times 1 is 1 point. So for this one, we got 50. Now you do this for all of the other coat of arms. If you had gotten a 3-point bonus from that special ability I showed you, you'd put it there. And then you add it up, and whoever has the most is the winner. All right, well, there's Kingdomino Duel. First thing I like are the big, colorful, double-sided scoring pads. It's a good size, they look nice, and I like how the opposite side of one of those sheets is what you use for the abilities that I showed there. I also like the production of the big, chunky dice. There's not a lot of components in this game, but the ones that are in it are definitely good. I really like the sort of dice drafting system in here. I'm calling it the Mr. Jack drafting system. This game's co-designed by Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Malblanc, my favorite sort of tag team duo of designers. They've designed all of the Mr. Jack series games. There's 4 of those, and I've just really loved those games. And it uses the same thing where the first player gets to draft 1, then the next player gets to draft 2 in a row, and then the first player gets whatever's left, and then it swaps players each round. And I love that drafting system. It works so well in any 2-player style game when you're selecting things, and it works really well here. So not surprised to see it here, but it works really well just like it does in Mr. Jack. I like that you're trying to move up some of those special ability tracks for any time you take those dice that have the non-crosses, so they're not going to get you any more points additionally with those crosses, and it allows you to move up. And that brings to me to those tough choices about, you're looking at the dice and you're looking at, what do you want? Do you want specific coats of arms? Do you want this one with crosses and start a new one? Or do you want to start going up different tracks? Or do you even more often, what do you want to take that your opponent really needs? Wow, they're building a really big one of this type. I don't really need it, but I need to take it from them. Or, ooh, you know what? If they get this die, they're going to be able to move up that track and get this special ability right now. I don't want them to have that, so I'll take that. So there's a lot of tough choices, even though the game is simple, about trying to really look at what your opponent has, what they're working on. And it's really a combative game where you're really trying to draft against each other. I like that it feels like Kingdomino, but yet it still feels pretty different because yes, you're putting the 2 things together like dominoes, and yes, you're trying to create the kingdoms of the different types, and there's basically crosses instead of crowns to get points. But I like that it still does feel different because you're moving up those different tracks and you're rolling dice, and the drafting really makes this game feel very different because that drafting is so different. The 2-player experience, of course, is just very different from the Kingdomino. Even the Kingdomino 2-player experience, this feels very different because of the way the drafting works out and the way and the special abilities. But you could play this without playing Kingdomino. If you've never played Kingdomino before, it's not going to be hard to learn this game because it's pretty easy. Anything negative about the game? Yeah, obviously it's limited to 2 players. So if you're buying this game, and if you don't often play with 2 players, this probably isn't going to be one that's going to get to the table much. But if you do often play 2-player games and you're looking for a good roll and write, this is one I can definitely recommend. Any other thing negative? I would have liked to have seen a little bit more here. I would have liked to have seen sort of an advanced variant, maybe some hidden gold cards that you'd get at the beginning of the game. That you'd select one, and maybe, hey, if you have the largest kingdom of this type of coat of arms, you'll get a certain amount of bonus points. Or if you have 2 separate sections of 3 of this type, or if you have more, if you have more separate sections of this type than your opponent does. So just different things to sort of shoot for to give the game a little bit more replayability, variability, and some different things to sort of go for. I would have liked to see like a little bit more advanced things going on here. But overall, if you're looking for a sort of 2-player quick roll and write that has, that's easy to learn but still has a decent amount going on, I can recommend it for you. But I do wish it had just a little bit more, and that's Kingdomino Duel. This video was shot on a Game Topper, the ultimate gaming accessory. After successfully fulfilling their first Kickstarter, Game Toppers are taking the world by storm. Now you can get your own portable gaming top by participating in Game Topper's Kickstarter 2.0 starting June 25th, 2019. New styles, new sizes, and amazing new game mats. Go to GameToppersLLC.com to enter a full Game Topper system valued over $1,000 to also bring you to the Kickstarter project page and to late pledge.